I see too many women sabotage relationships or the potential of one with a really great guy purely because he undervalued her. Now, while there are a few cases where the guy just doesn't see that in the girl that he's dating, the majority of the time is because the woman presents herself in a way to him that is low value, at least low value in a man's eyes. And while men will happily sleep with women that they see as low value, they will never commit to them, and they don't commit to them. And the frustrating thing is, for most women, this is very easily rectifiable. She can just stop engaging in behaviors and habits that present her as low value, so that no man will ever undervalue what you have to offer ever again. But if you don't know, then you don't know. Well, by the end of this video, you definitely will know. I'm gonna go through 4 things a woman does that makes a man undervalue. The first thing is engaging in a lot of sexual promiscuity. Yes, I know this is always a hot topic and it's always something that comes up. And yes, we do live in sexually liberated times. This isn't about being judged or any shame about your sexual history or your past, or how you use sex in a very fun and a free way. But while we have come forward in terms of our attitudes towards sex as a culture, there are still biological instincts in us. There are still evolutionary biological things happening within us that haven't caught up to our cultural norms. I mean, a classic case is, women can fend for themselves and, earn their own money and survive by themselves. But yet most women still want a man who can do that for her, right? Our biology hasn't caught up yet. And so because of this, one thing that men have always valued in women is sexual intimacy with her. The reason a guy takes an interest in you is because he is physically attracted to you, right? Let's just be real. I don't know any guy that's ever asked a girl out because he looked at her and went, wow, yeah, she looks like she has a great personality. She may have a great energy, but ultimately, if he didn't see himself being intimate with her, he wouldn't be interested in the first place. Now, because men see sexual intimacy as the prize, the more easily you share that with men and multiple men, the less valuable the intimacy with you comes across to him, the less valuable it's seen in his eyes. Now, here's the thing. A guy can still want you even if you slept with 50, 80, over 100 men. But wanting you isn't the same as choosing you. Wanting is a place of desire, but choosing is a place of intention. And I think what happens is that many women can get confused by a guy wanting her, thinking that that's the same as a guy choosing her, but it's not. So yes, while we do live in sexually liberated times without judgment or shame, we have to understand that men still see being intimate with you as the prize. And so if you're coming across in a way, or you even tell and show that you've shared that prize with many men, especially over a short period of time, then the more he's going to undervalue the intimacy with you, and thus undervalue the relationship as a whole, because we know sex is important to men. Next thing that makes a man undervalue a woman is having low standards for sexual access. This is different to being promiscuous. When I say low standards for sexual access, I don't mean that you will just have sex with any old guy off the street. I mean that the guy that you would have sex with, he doesn't actually have to do much to get it from you. A guy may not text you for a week or 2 weeks, but yet when he does text you to come over, you're ready to go over at the drop of a hat. You're ready to go around his house to just quote unquote chill. Or maybe he does text you every few days, but he doesn't make an effort to plan a date with you. Create an experience for you both to share. Create an experience for you both to create memories. He just offers popcorn and banter and you're there. And I get it. When it's a guy that you like, especially if it seems that he's not that available, or if it seems that he's not giving you as much attention as you would like, the second he is available, you want to jump and hold on to that opportunity. You'll accept spending time with him on his terms, because getting a little bit of what you want is better than getting nothing of what you want, right? Wrong. When it comes to men and sex, if you don't have a standard for the intimate side of you with him, he won't have a standard for how he treats you. You just accepting giving him access to your body when he's shown no real investment in you. That is you teaching him that it is okay for him to undervalue what you have to offer. Because we teach people how to treat us, and people only treat us how we allow them to treat us. So if you want a guy to not give you that undervalued treatment, then you have to teach him not to do that. Another thing that makes a man undervalue a woman is her not showing value outside of sex. This obviously isn't saying that you don't have value outside of sex to a man, but it's that if you're not showing that value outside of sex to a man. You see, historically and traditionally speaking, a big incentive for men to commit and invest in a woman long term was because he would have regular sexual access. Of course, that wasn't the only reason, but it was definitely a big incentive. I mean, we know if guys knew he wasn't gonna have sex with a woman ever, he wouldn't commit to her long term. However, because we now live in sexually liberated times, the value of sex has gone down. If we think of sex and intimacy like a stock in the stock market, the value of it has increasingly gone down the more sexually liberated we've become, because it's easier to come across. Now, it's funny because when I say it's easier to come across, it's actually harder for men to qualify for sexual intimacy today. But the men who do qualify for it with women, he doesn't really have to do much to get it from her. Definitely not anywhere near as much back in the day. This is why the value a woman can show and present and bring to a man outside of the bedroom is becoming increasingly more valuable and important. It is true that historically there have been guys who will commit to a woman because A, she's attractive, and B, he gets to have sex with her. That's it. But today, especially for the kind of man that most women want, a guy who is strong, masculine, ambitious, on his purpose, successful, attractive, desirable, getting sex is not valuable to him. Yes, it is something that he may indulge in, but for him to commit to a woman, it's all of the value that she provides outside of sex. It's those things that make him go, this woman is valuable to me. So if you say and are proud of the fact that you're the kind of woman who is kind, that you're the kind of woman who is thoughtful, who is warm, who is generous, who likes to do things for her partner that she cares about, then it's really important that you show that, because saying it and doing it is what translates and communicates value to him. So if you say that you are thoughtful, then be thoughtful. If he's had a crazy week at work, you can say to him, hey, why don't I come over and I can sort us food and you can just chill? Well, it doesn't have to be a typical traditional thing. It could be just you tidying up his cushions, or maybe you get him a new toothbrush because you notice he hasn't changed it for a few months. Just little things like that is showing value outside of the bedroom. And this is truly what raises a man's perception of a woman in his eyes. Next thing that makes a woman undervalued by a man is if she is easily influenced by others. Now, it is true that generally speaking, women are better adapters than men. Women are better at adapting into certain environments, better adapting into certain social classes, etc. And I do think a big reason of that comes from an evolutionary standpoint, because historically when men would conquer land, they would kill the men and the young boys, and they would take their women and daughters as wives of their own. So naturally, those women would have to assimilate into their culture. They would have to adapt to their social environment in order to survive. Because if they didn't, then they were kicked overboard. So there is a little bit of an evolutionary advantage that women have here. However, it is important for a man that a woman isn't just influenced by anything that she sees or consumes, especially from mainstream media. It is important that she has a strong enough filter and she has strong principles and values about herself, that she is not easily swayed by anyone. Now, that's not saying that she can't be open. Of course, we should all be open to new ideas and different perspectives. However, if he's looking for a teammate, then he's going to be looking for someone who has strong principles and morals the same as him. He is going to be looking for a woman who isn't constantly changing where she stands, who doesn't just believe everything that she consumes media digital-wise. Because for him, it just seems unstable. He would just think, oh, well, I don't know what she's going to think or be like in 1 to 3 to 5 to 7 years down the line. Now, of course, nothing's ever guaranteed. And yes, people do change over time. But for what I've seen, witnessed, and experienced and observed in the world, people's principles and morals tend to stay pretty consistent. And if someone's principles and morals do change, it's because there's a certain incident that has, induced this rapid transformation. But if a woman very much just seems led by the wind, very much led by the common narrative, then she just doesn't seem like a good long-term investment. It's about having your own sense of thought, your own sense of mind and original thinking. That is very attractive to men, and it's something that they value hugely. Because even if he is going to be quote-unquote leading within the relationship, He's still going to be asking for your opinion on things. He still wants your input. He still values your input, regardless of who's making the decision. And so a woman who isn't maybe presenting and demonstrating that could mean that he starts to undervalue her contribution to his social, intellectual, and emotional life. Now, you may notice that a lot of the things we've gone through are all centered around sex. And while sex isn't everything to a man when it comes to women, sex is the power that women have and will always have over men. And so how a woman uses her power, her relationship to her quote-unquote pussy power regards to men, says a lot about her character. So if you want to know the lessons every high-value woman learns, click in the link below. I've pinned it to the top in the comment where you can download it right now. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep it slick.